Hi, it's Sandy Parker, and welcome to Crafting for Almost Everyone. Today we're going to be doing some Christmas cards from Tonic Studios magazine number 15, and I hope you'll play along with me. So I bought this from craftstash.com, and they still have them in stock. It's not their most current issue of Tonic Studios magazine, but I think it was $16.99 US, and I think it was $10.99 shipping. That probably sounds like a lot, but I just got the email from Tonic Studios about their most current magazine, and they're selling it for, I think, $36, so, or in that range. So it's, I think the price is really fair to get it from the United Kingdom. Anyway, let me show you what comes with this. I loved this magazine. I wanted it because it had this really fun snowman. You can see him right here. And I'm going to put the dies up first. This all comes with the magazine. You get the snowman, his scarf, a candy cane, 3 different faces, mittens, arms, a hat, and an inner layer for the hat, a different hat, a third hat, a carrot for his nose, a different carrot for his nose, some little baubles that you can put around, a bow tie, a pipe, some holly, and his mittens. I thought that in itself was a great deal. Then I'm going to put this black cardstock on top so you can see this better. Then you got this stencil that gives you, if it was right side up, it gives you snowbanks. And I thought that was fun with all different kinds of snowflakes. And I might play with that in a different video, but in this video I'm going to be making cards from the book. Well, theoretically. And then these are the stamps that come with it. It gives you a couple of faces. Snowell, Snowell, we wish you a Merry Christmas or Happy Holidays. Let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. Celebrate the season, season's greeting, and joy to the world. Nice fonts. I like that very much. So the other thing that you get, and this was really fun, you get a bunch of pages of cardstock. Hold on, I gotta get to the page where it starts. So it starts with like the blue and white, and then it has some circles you can punch out or die cut, and a big piece of red and white, and then red with snowflakes, green with snowflakes. This pattern's really fun. Haven't used it yet, but I'm going to. A lot of sentiments, which I thought was really nice. Blue cardstock, more sentiments. I'm not crazy about this red, but I worked with it, so I'm okay with it in the end. More sentiments, snowflakes, more sentiments, Christmas trees, more. I thought these were fun, these little pieces that you could part together. Then they had some of the little snowman things in case you can't die cut them with the dies, you can cut them out, and I'll show you how I did that. And then more, I'll just show you the rest of these real quickly. I used a lot of it so that you can see it in action. Okay, then I went through the cards, or the cards that were in here, and I'm not good at making anything like someone else does. And these were done with centimeters. So as soon as I saw the centimeters, I went, okay, well, I'll just make a similar card to this one. And I'll show you that. We're going to make that one together. And then I'm going to make this one with floating hats. Not going to be the same, but mine's going to have floating hats in it. This was the greatest idea. Because you're thinking to yourself, well, geez, Sandy, it's a snowman. What in the world am I going to do with a snowman all year round? Here's the cool thing about it. One of the people that made some cards for them decided to see how could you use a snowman in other ways. And I thought this was such a cool idea that she made flowers out of it. And then she just made a vague background with it. And this one had to say loved it, and I'm going to make that one. So let's start out with the card that has a floating sentiment, floating hats. This one right here. That's the idea, but of course I'm not going to do it that way because you know me. And as I do each card, I'll show you how we're doing it. So I'm starting with a 5x5 card base. excuse me, a 5.5 by 5.5 inch card base because I wanted to use a whole sheet of cardstock and just cut it. So I cut an 11-inch cardstock at 5.5 inches on one side. So I cut it at 5.5 inches, so it's 5.5 by 11, scored at 5.5 inches. Now the first thing you need to know is that when you're going to make this floating piece, this is where you're going to float it. So you need to make sure that you cut out some of your cardstock. So we're just going to take our paper trimmer and we're going to cut off 1 3/4 inches. That's the bottom that we are going to be using, but not right now. Then I'm going to cut another 1 3/4 inches off. This is going to be the portion that has the acetate in it. So we're not going to need this piece. The rest we're going to leave in place. So I hope you followed that. Here's our top section. Here's my piece of acetate. My acetate is actually larger than the opening, but that's because I wanted to have enough that I could attach some to this and then attach some to this piece that's the bottom. You know what I mean? Follow that? I wanted to make sure that I could lay both pieces down. So to do that, I'm going to use some tear tape, because when you're using acetate in your layers, you definitely need to use tear tape because most adhesives don't stick to tear tape. And I'm on the back of my card, and I'm just going to put a piece at the top. I'm not exactly sure how far down this my little piece of acetate will go. I think I'll make it more like that so that it has enough room. Yeah, I think I have enough room for 2 strips. Remember, this is the only thing keeping your card together, so you want to make sure that you do a good job of adhering it. I'm going to put my next strips on the acetate at the top. This piece is going to be underneath. I kind of want to see how much room I have. I have enough for 2 pieces there too. Okay, so we're going to put 2 strips there. My tear tape is 1/4 inch tear tape, so this gives me 1/2 inch of adhesive on here. That should hold it pretty securely. So then what I'm going to do, I'm going to lay my acetate in place where I think it's going to work best. Move it down a little bit more. And I'm just going to push this piece down. Then I'm going to take this piece, line it up with the bottom. Hopefully I'm in frame. Line the bottom up with the bottom edge of the card, the back of the card. Just making sure it's completely lined up, and then push it down. Now you've got a floating panel. So I thought it would be fun to change my card up a little bit and make it so that my hats are hanging from a clothesline. At least that's my thinking at this point. We'll see if that works well. And I have these little black ones and these little gray clothespins, and then I have 4 hats because that's how many the original person made. Now, I cut them out of the card, or of the in the magazine. Card, magazine, you know how it goes. I can't remember anything. So let's, I think we'll put our pieces that I have for the card, like this piece and this piece. Then what I got, because you know I can't just do it like normal people, I thought it'd be fun to put a strip of silver between them. So my first plan of action is to get my glue. This paper is not very thick. It might not do well with wet glue, but we're going to try it and see. First thing we're using is the green side, and I cut these to 1 3/4 inches by 5.5 inches because I wanted them to go the whole width of my card. You don't want a ton of glue. I mean, it's very thin paper, but you want to make sure your edges are well glued down. And then if I have a little bit, if it goes over the edge a little bit, that's not a problem because I'm going to be putting my strips down. And I bought something new called, man, I wish I knew what I did with the packaging. But I bought it from, I think, Ecstasy Crafts, and I'll put a link to it down below. And it's this paper that when you pull back the release paper on it, you can lay your, you want to lay your silver on it. I bought this specifically for things like this, where you're going to need adhesive, but you don't want it to, you don't want the adhesive to be showing, and you don't want the adhesive to be hard to get off. I'm going to use this for things like this, where I always end up having some glue showing, and I don't like that. But anyway, I think it's called Sticky Specks, but I might be wrong about that. I'm going to find it for sure and give you that information. Then when you pull it off, you pull the gold paper back. You don't pull your other things. So you want to pull back on the gold paper, and then it adheres. I don't know if you can see the shiny part. It adheres a bunch of little sticky pieces to it and makes it so that you can adhere these things, which I think is lovely. So let's glue the one down on the green paper so that it looks more finished. And just like that, it's adhered, which I loved. Sticky Specks, I think that's the name of it. I might be wrong. And I'm just going to cut off this little extra piece because I didn't really cut my silver to length. Oh boy, then I got this on the card. Oh, not what I wanted. Okay, no problem. All right. Oh, gotta put my red piece on first. Put this on. Okay. Put this silver piece at the bottom. Okay. There's that piece. I gotta say, I'm really liking this stuff. Okay, now we're ready. Let's see if I can pick up the edges and just lay that twine in there. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to pick up both the silver and the paper on the edge. I'm going to put a little bit more adhesive under there, even though I already told you that nothing sticks to that. Nothing holds acetate like tear tape, and of course I'm not using tear tape now. Okay, so let's see if I can cut this extra off. I think I'm doing okay. I might have to go to 3 instead of 4 hats. You never know. So there we have it. Let me show you the one in the book. Oh wait, I had one other thing I wanted to do, and I'm really bad at this, so in case you're wondering if you should run away, I would recommend you run away right now, because when I do anything with Nuvo Drops, I am not very, very good at it. And I thought these little berries, the little berries on the hats, on the hats needed some kind of fun. Nuvo Drops are supposed to be self-leveling. I've never found that to be the case for me, but when I saw them at a craft show. The demo, I explained to them that mine never self-level, and the woman looked at me like I was absolutely insane. So I'm just telling you, I never get mine to self-level. If you get yours to do it, tell me the secret, because I always get mine looking like Hershey's Kisses. And I do try pushing down the tops, and I try all kinds of stuff that is supposed to make them look like little berries, but mine always look like Hershey's Kisses for whatever reason. And after I'm done, I always kind of pound the... That one has a bubble in it. I've never seen them with a bubble in it. But that one has a bubble, and mine are all... Jeez. Maybe my stuff is old? I don't know. Mine always look really bad. Never mind. Don't worry about it. In the end, you're going to be impressed, because it's not going to look like this. Or maybe it will. Okay, so there is card number 1. I'm going to show you the one in the magazine so you can see that mine is a little bit like it, but not really like their card. Okay, there's theirs, and there's mine. It's the idea that's the same. The rest of it pretty much not. So I'm going to put that one aside so I don't end up getting those Nuvo drops and everything. And then let me show you the next one. The next one we're going to do is similar to this one. Okay. I took an 8.5 inch long by 5.5 inch tall card base, scored it in the center at 4.25 inches, and then we're going to need a piece of white cardstock for inside so I have something to write on, and that's going to be, we're just going to use some wet glue to adhere that. This is back. And that. Geez, I have Nuvo drops on my hand too. How nice. Okay, there's the inside of our card. This card is going to go, it's going to be a top fold card. I cut these pieces. This is a piece of cardstock that I already had. I thought it looked nice with the colors in the kit, so that's why I went with it. This is 5 1/8 by 1 3/4, and this is 5 1/8 by, this one's bigger, by 2 1/4. I did that because I wanted to have a little bit of space between them. I'm still going to have a little bit of a gap all the way around, not much, but a little bit. I would say maybe 1/8 of an inch versus what I normally would have, which is 1/4 of an inch. Then I used a round die and cut out the Merry Christmas from the paper, and then I used a die that was a scalloped circle that's a little bit bigger than this one, and I put the Merry Christmas up on foam squares so it's a little bit bigger, and I just thought I would adhere it to the left side of the card. There is that. Here is theirs, right there. So you get to see both versions. The third one I'm going to make is a birthday card. There is the birthday card that they made. I decided I wanted to make a birthday card that was a slimline card. So my slimline card is going to look like this. I used a different colored foil for the outside of my ice cream cone than I did for the inside. The outside is purple, the inside is pink. I thought that was kind of fun. And then I used a bunch of dies that I bought that I thought would really play well with this idea. And then I used a rub-on that was an old Stampin' Up rub-on that said birthdays are the best. And this was a die from the same set of dies that this came from. So the first thing we need to do is make our ice cream cone. Let me grab the paper I want to use for that. Okay, I'm going to just use this paper, and I thought the easiest way to make our ice cream cone would be to just kind of cut it out of cardstock and do it. Let me decide. I think I'm going to use maybe, that's probably wide enough. Okay, so my ice cream cone is this tall, or my ice cream is this tall. So I probably want, I have to make sure it fits on my page. So I guess I want it to be about, I'm going to just make a little mark on my paper. I think I want my cone to be this big. Okay, so I'm going to show you my system. All I'm going to do is I'm going to put my point of my paper so it's down in the cut line, because I want my cone, and I'm doing it the wrong way. No, that's the way I want to do it. Okay. Talking to myself. Okay, so that's one part of my cone. And I have to make it wide enough that I can get my ice cream. Let's see if that's too wide. Yeah, I think it's a little too wide. So let's make it a little bit more narrow than it is. So I just need to cut off a little bit. I want to maintain the height. I think that's better. Then what I'm going to do, because it's an ice cream cone, you know how ice cream cones have those X's on them? Well, we're going to make some X's on ours. You get your scoreboard. And I'm just going to put my cone on an angle. You see the angle it's at? Okay. And I'm just going to, every, let's say, every other line, trying to stay in the grooves. Which one is that one? Move that a little bit. That goes to this one. Now, if it looked better than it does, which of course it doesn't look great, but if it looked better than it does, I probably would have distressed the whole thing. I might distress the edges. Can you see the, hopefully you can see that. It looks like an ice cream cone. I cut my card base. This is a 7-inch by 8.5 inch tall card, scored at 3.5 inches. So it makes a 3.5 inch by 8.5 inch tall card. And then I have these layers that I thought would be fun. It would create more of a like a ice cream feel to it. in my opinion. Okay, there's one layer. And then this layer, I just thought that would add more to the look of the ice cream cone. I thought it would back the ice cream cone better. I don't know. You know, I'm just making it up as I go. Now, we're going to put our ice cream cone together. I want to get my, let me grab a ink pad. Okay, here is our ice cream cone. I think I'm going to put it like that. If you've never done anything with a die like this, the easiest way to get it to adhere to everything and look good is to put some glue on the back of it and adhere it to another piece of paper. So what we're going to do is we're going to attach that like this. That way you're going to be able to get everything to adhere and stay in place where you want it. I don't need all of the bottom ice cream to be attached to the white because I'm going to glue it all. I'm going to glue this piece in and it should hide everything. So all I did was I die cut it twice, once in purple and once in pink. Didn't put enough glue in that, clearly. And what I'll do is I'll wait for all of this to be dry before I cut it apart. I thought I just used a white card piece of scrap, but clearly it wasn't a white piece of scrap, it was silver. Tell me that doesn't look like ice cream. Isn't that the coolest thing? I might try a little bit of this darker gathered twig and see if I could get a little bit more. I'm going to play with it on this. Now I'm going to put this up on foam because I can. And we'll just lay it in place and we'll put our sentiment down and we'll call this one good. What I think we're going to do is put it down but then cut part of it off because I don't think I want the whole length of this to be on my card. So I'm only going to have part of it. I want to make sure I get the word "the best" on there. Just makes it. I'm going to have to cut off a little bit of that last glue dot because it goes a little bit, come on, goes a little bit over the edge. Somehow I cut off my exclamation point, so now it just says "birthdays are the best." You know, it's like not that exciting apparently. Birthdays aren't really that great apparently. Okay, so I added some Nuvo crystal drops to this. They were this color, which is, I don't know, Morning Dew. I don't even know if they still make these colors. I've had them for a while. The red is Red Berry. That was from the other one. And I had a little issue. I don't know if it's because of the mirror cardstock, but these three kind of ran together. Could be because of the mirror. These two are starting to run together too. These ones stayed apart. I don't know. You know, I struggle. But I thought it looked really cute and I was happy with the end result. I hope you are too. The last card I'm going to make is more not from the book, more just my own idea with what I wanted to do with the snowman. I'm going to be using a card base that is pre-made, and I got it at Michael's in a set that were really inexpensive a long time ago, and I'm still trying to go through all of them. Let's see if I can get those out of the way. Okay. What I wanted to do, my snowman is going to be white. And the problem when you have white snowmen is that when you do the outline, you don't really, it doesn't make it show off. So I took a marker that's a cool gray, one very light gray, and I went around the outline of the snowman. And for some reason, it doesn't look really, the gray didn't seem to take on all of the cardstock for some reason. I don't know. These things happen to me. You know what I'm saying. Anyway, it kind of looks a little bit distressed when it wasn't supposed to. But anyway, that's what I did. I went around the edges of the snowman with the gray. Then I cut a piece of cardstock to 4 1/4 by 3 inches. And the reason I cut it that way, it wasn't that I wanted it to be that big, but I wanted to turn this into snow. So I'm going to cut a little bit, hopefully. I'm going to cut a little bit of, we'll call it a hillside. This little hill needs a little bit of work. I'm not sure if it looks like a snowbank or something else. And this time I'm going to put it down with tear tape because I'm afraid if I don't that it's not going to stick to this mirrored cardstock. Actually, no. I already changed my mind. I want to put this up on foam squares because I'm going to have the snowman sit behind it, kind of. You know what I'm saying? Kind of. And these, the snowman, just like the ice cream cone, it's easiest if you put it on a piece of cardstock to back it so that it's, so that all the pieces stay together easier. You want to make sure you check which side it opens on because, you know, I've made that mistake before where I put it on the wrong side and then all of a sudden I've got something on the back of some, I mean, it's screwed up. Alright, I made this for the sentiment, so let's put our snowman together. Got enough glue. I'll glue the back of that hand if I can get him to glue that down too. Okay. And we'll kind of shove him under that fake mound. So there is my version of the cards from the Tonic magazine. I have to say, I really, really, really liked everything about that set. And usually when you get a magazine, there's like 1 or 2 things that you like, and the rest of it, you're like, what do I got to do with this? But this one, honestly, everything was so cute. So there they all are. I hope you enjoyed this and that you give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and please tell your friends about me on social media because you know I love that. And thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.